Okay, everyone, thank you for reconvening so promptly. For the purposes of the notes and the recording, the attendees of the meeting remain the same as the previous section of this meeting, with Eni Ogundeku representing Health, John Brown representing Fire, Mark Walker representing Local Authorities, Alison Fleming representing the Environment Agency, Andrew Murr representing Police, James Cole as the logist, and myself, Julia Dracon, as the chair of this TCG and representing Leicestershire County Council Highways Department. We just had a short break in our meeting to pick up an immediate action around evacuation and shelter. If I could just ask James to recap the action that's written down in the log.
So it was to identify accommodation for those affected in the Bronson Lane minibus that was stuck at Bronson Lane East, as well as the property caravan park evacuees.
Thank you. Could I ask for an update on that action?
Yes, I've spoken to the duty officer. They have it in hand already. The evacuation centre is going to be at the Methodist Church Hall in Barrow-upon-Soar, so that one's in hand. The minibus at Braunston Lane East is now out of the water. As far as I'm aware, nobody is injured or too badly affected. And County Social Care team are on the way to make sure everybody's okay and dealt with accordingly.
That's great, thank you. In that case, can we, is everyone happy for us to close that action in the log as completed? Yeah, great. Okay, in that case, we will continue with the meeting. Has anybody else got any other items for urgent attention before we continue with the briefing?
Yes, during the break, got a report from Leicestershire Partnership Trust, LPT. One of the district nurses is making a house visit to a patient. She's an 84-year-old female, and they wish to get her to hospital immediately because she's got a heart condition which is deteriorating quickly. The road outside the property appears to be flooding. The nurse is asking for assistance. The address of the property is 31A Maymill Road, Quorn.
Is there any agency that would be able to assist with that?
Well, from a fire point of view, we are prioritising at the moment just on the number of calls we're receiving in. We could certainly get to the person. Transport-wise, I think we're looking for help from someone else to provide the transport.
The full before volunteers?
Yes. So can we put down an action to contact the 4x4 volunteers if the local authorities could pick that up?
Yeah.
I suggest we do that after the meetings. We're going to keep this meeting just to briefings, and at the moment the patient is with the district nurse, as I understand. Is everyone comfortable with that as an approach? Yeah, great. We note that as an agreed action, please, logist. Okay, has anyone else got any other items for urgent attention? No? In that case, then we'll move on to the forecast. James, if you could just capture the key points across this, please, because of course you'll all be receiving these electronically anyway with the details, so just the key points, please. The Met Office have been able to attend this meeting in person because, of course, there are demands on them from across the country. So a severe weather warning is in force, indicating severe rainfall across the country, particularly affecting the Midlands, and heavy rainfall is expected across our county over the next few days. The forecast for tomorrow is showing an average rainfall of 20 millimetres of rain with a maximum of 25 millimetres, and the forecast for Thursday and for Friday is worse, so it is a worsening picture for us locally and also across the wider Midlands area as well. Has anyone got any questions for the Met Office? If you do, I'll be sending them back to them. But if you do have any, please raise them now. No? Okay, in that case, could I invite the Environment Agency to give us an update on the local situation?
Right. We've got 2 flood warnings in place at the moment, but we have others that are forecast. So the 2 that are already in place are the River Soar at Sharnford and the River Soar at Croft Mill. The ones that are forecast and are likely to be issued during the coming night are again for the River Soar, affecting Mount Sorrel and Barrow on Soar. We also have some flood warnings that are forecast but with less certainty, and it's not clear exactly when they're likely to be issued. However, there's high confidence that there's going to be sufficient rainfall to have these issued probably by the end of Wednesday. I'll go through them slowly, James, so you can make a note. Mainly it's the River Soar again. It's Birstall and Wanlip, Braunston, Stocking Farm, Leicester, Frog Island, Ayleston Lock Estate, Rushmead, and then the other one is the Woodbrook at Loughborough. And that's everything.
Thank you. Can I ask a question about if the worst case scenario from those flood warnings were to occur, do we know how many properties we might be looking at flooding?
Potentially we're looking at hundreds, possibly into the 1,000 and plus.
Okay, thank you. Has anyone got any additional questions for the Environment Agency?
Could I ask, for the next meeting, would it be possible to put those flood warnings on a map? Because I know some of these places, but I don't know where they all are, so if we have...
They'll be on Resilience Direct, yes.
Can we have that as an action, please, James, to a map of the potential flood areas to be put on Resilience Direct for us to work from? Thank you. Okay, so moving on then, we will take a very brief sit-rep from every agency. Please just key points before we move on to talk about our strategic and tactical objectives, and then actions for the next couple of hours. So if I could start out with the police, please, Andrew.
Yeah, as well as the previously identified problem with the caravan park, Proctor's Caravan Park on the Soar, we and the vulnerable coach that was stuck in floodwater. We also have a signals failure at Braunston Lane East, which is causing considerable congestion, which is exacerbating the issues in that area of our responsibility. And the sheer number of media inquiries regarding the flooding and situation has skyrocketed, and our media and comms cells are having trouble coping with just the sheer volume of traffic.
Can I just clarify whether or not a joint media and comms cell has yet been established, or is it the police comms team that are being overwhelmed?
That's the police comms team. We haven't as yet sent anyone to a media and comms cell. There hasn't one been established as yet. No.
Okay then. Could I suggest as a decision and an action that we ask for a media and comms cell to be established straight after this meeting to work collectively on those?
Yeah, we can provide a record to that.
Great, thank you. So if you could put an action for myself to talk to the county comms team to chair that and to kick off that joint activity. Thank you. Any questions for the police? No? Okay, local authorities.
Okay, so this is a report I've had from Martin Jackson from the County Council. The traffic officer is reporting that the Quorn to Barrow on Soar Road, which is the B675, has flooded. We have fallen trees blocking the A46 at Wanlip, and we have multiple requests for sandbags from residents in Sharnford, but the County Council doesn't have any sandbags left. From the district and boroughs, a report from Melton, the Customer Services Manager is reporting that communities in the Reek Valley are concerned about floodwater affecting their properties, but no reports of any actual flooding at the moment. Charnwood, we have reports that approximately 200 properties have already flooded in Loughborough. Again, there's another call about the fallen trees. We're not sure whether those 200 properties really are flooded, so I need to talk to the EA outside the meeting just to find out. whether that is true or not. And a couple of messages from the duty officer who I spoke to earlier. The community flood warden in Mount Sorrel has reported some properties are flooded, and the community warden near Knighton Park has reported that the flood storage reservoir is filling up quite significantly. Again, they are reports from other people, and I just need to check to make sure that all those things are actually happening.
So to summarise then, there's more themes around evacuation and shelter, it sounds like, from a Loughborough situation, potential for vulnerable people to be caught up in that are known service users, and transportation issues as well with road networks. So there's some work to do around mapping those situations.
Is the running out of sandbags an issue as well for the local authorities?
Potentially an issue for them to be considering, yes, and what their policy is around that. Okay, so if we're capturing those as key issues, James, we'll take the update from Fire and Health, and then we will talk about any immediate actions at this stage. Before then, we go and have another look at the situation, strategic and tactical principles. Fire, please.
Okay. Yeah, as you can imagine, we're receiving calls from all over the place, and just confirming and backing up some of the information already. Residents in Mount Sorrel calling, concerned about water entering the property. At this moment, we're treating that as low priority as it's not confirmed. Over and above Proctor's Park and the situation there, we've got a number of motorists who are stuck in water at various locations. We are deploying resources to them, but possibly as an action from that, a media message going out from the media cell would be appreciated for people not to travel if they don't need to.
Okay, can I hold you just there? Could we just capture that action, James? I'm conscious that a lot of information is coming your way. You got that?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Please continue.
The only other thing is, at the moment, we're dealing with a serious road traffic collision on the M69 westbound. At this stage, this is looking like that might be protracted and go for quite some time. So we've got a number of resources there, and EMAS and police are also involved and informed. But that is a priority call for us at the moment, which we are dealing with.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Fire? No? Health, please.
Yes, in addition to the elderly patient who needed to be taken to the hospital, I've got reports from UHL, midwives, dialysis specialists and district nurses have a number of patients in the Barrow-upon-Soar area, and they're struggling to access their properties. We would like to put in a request to the 4x4 to see if they could assist with access to the properties and getting those patients out.
We'll capture that as an action for us, James. Any questions for Health? No?
No, but I have a concern from a police side of, well, not for this meeting, is that there seems to be a lot of life at risk type incidents that are tied into this incident, and making sure we keep those as a clear priority.
Yes. And I totally agree, and I suggest that what we do at this stage is we recap on the actions from the log, and then we agree what immediate cells need to be established. We take a short break to establish those, and then come back and continue down the rest of the agenda. Does that sound a reasonable approach?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the action recap, James, please, since we reconvened.